I think this president's responses to Iranian aggression has been very restrained.
Now, President Trump weighed in on Twitter, urging Iran not to shoot protesters, and he called on the regime to restore internet and allow journalists back in the country.
There are ongoing protests now, and accelerated protests, really, because of the airliner being shot down by the Iranians. And the previous administration, of course, got some criticism when, during the Green Movement, when the people were protesting and they were put down most viciously and aggressively by the Iranian government at the time, and that there should have been a more significant American response. Of course, the argument against it is then the government uses that against the people that are protesting and says, oh, you're in cahoots with the Americans or whatever. So there's an argument on both sides. But the protesting is ongoing now. And I think all of us, certainly most of us, would like to support that. But I'd be interested, since we really have a very distinguished panel of experts here, as to what we're on their side of the people. So what can we do to assist them? And I'll just go to Mr. Headley, and we'll just go down the line.
It's a very good question. It's tricky because one of the things authoritarian regimes do when there are demonstrations against them is to blame it on outside powers.
Finally, after days of vehement denial, Iran's military admitted its guilt. With armed forces at the highest level of alert, the Ukrainian International Airlines flight had appeared to fly like a hostile target near a sensitive military site.
When I became certain that this incident had happened, I really wished death for myself. I wished I had died and not seen such an incident.
Politicians followed. Human error had caused the missile to be fired, Iran's foreign minister tweeted. Meanwhile, the country's president, Hassan Rouhani, called the attack a disastrous mistake. The about-face comes after Iran maintained that a technical fault had been to blame for the crash.
Because one of the things authoritarian regimes do when there are demonstrations against them is to blame it on outside powers.
Right.
And so anything we will say will be used as evidence that, aha, the Americans are behind these demonstrations, and to try to discredit them.
Saturday, in a stunning move, General Amir Ali Hajizadeh had told the nation it was Iran's army that had downed the plane, mistaking it for a U.S. cruise missile. But as pictures of the wreckage circulated and international investigators started their work, disbelief turned to fury. Not only on the streets, but everywhere, Iranians were asking if there really had been a threat of U.S. strikes, why hadn't the military done the obvious thing and closed its airspace to civilian planes?
Right.
And so anything we will say will be used as evidence that, aha, the Americans are behind these demonstrations, and to try to discredit them.
Produced a wave of student protests on campuses across the country. In Ohio, the National Guard was dispatched to Kent State University after anti-war protesters on campus turned violent at the start of May.
Thousands of mostly young people joined angry crowds in Tehran. And the protests continued last night, too. Social media videos showed at least one woman shot in the leg.
On May 4th, a noontime rally turned bloody when National Guardsmen, who had been ordered to disperse the demonstrators, advanced on the angry crowd and wound up firing on them. This photo, snapped just moments after the shooting stopped, became one of the iconic images of the Vietnam War era. In addition to the 4 students who were killed, 9 others were injured.
Tehran's police chief said he'd urged his officers to use restraint, but witnesses say police were using live rounds, just not shooting to kill.